Okay, this is a bit of a makeup video, and I say that because I've recorded this previously. I live streamed it. The live stream crashed 7 minutes in, and the recording corrupted as well. So I did 5 map reviews in that, and they're gone. So I'm just going to quickly go through these again for the builders, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one recording for each map. So just go to my YouTube channel for the Hammerfall um, Hammerfall Grifball Court contest at Forge Hub. Um, and as I said, just look up the playlist. I will link this in the entry thread or in the information thread at Forge Hub. And so just click on your video if you've made this map, or just look at all of them if you're building a map, so you can see what some of the other issues are. So the first map that we're looking at today, or re-looking at today, is Achievement City by SupremeOptimus. Okay, and as I said, I've been all through this before, so this is going to be relatively quick. This map has quite a few issues, but they're all easily fixed with a bit of forge time. One is that it's got non-standard spawns. I don't know if he's done these himself or if he used the template. I can just tell by looking at the object properties of the first spawn, and it is no. You see, it's not. They're non-standard, but this is really, it's an easy thing to do. The way you would fix your spawning issues is you leave your bomb plant in the middle. You delete all your spawns and your capture plate and safe zone, and see, that's why I think he's used the template, because these are items that are found on the, oh wait, and he's got the box here. So he may have been using the template, but somehow the spawns got messed up, because these are supposed to be turned inwards 10 degrees, 15 degrees. Let me just have another look here. Yeah. See, those are 10 degrees. It's supposed to be 10, 15, and 20, and somehow the spawns got rearranged. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respawns per side. There's only supposed to be 3 respawns per side. Anyhow, it's a really easy fix. So you know what? I'm just going to show you how to do it. You just do object select all of and delete. Ungroup that. Somehow I'm having problems selecting that. Oh, there we go. That's because it was it was embedded under the floor. So you see, there's 20. There's only supposed to be 20 or 12 of those. So select all of and delete the bomb. Select all of, delete. I'm going to keep the original one here just so that I can use its magnets. That's all that I'm going to use it for. Actually, I don't need to do that, because he's got this block right here that will align everything. So I will get rid of the safe zone so we don't have 2 of those. These are just the items that are found on the Grifball 4v4 spawns prefab. So I've got rid of that, and let's just go grab the new prefab. So just bookmark my prefabs. These 4. You want to bookmark Grifball 4v4 respawns, running starts. Whether you want running starts or not, you should still grab this prefab, because it has the invisible blockers for the goal and wall. So you can just do that, drop it in, then delete the spawn platform, the man cannons, and take these starting spawns and put them on the floor. So that's it's a good prefab to tear apart. And cam ring walls is the prefab you want if you're not sure of how the dimensions of your court. That's just for the dimensions. And so you can plunk that in to make sure that you're on track as far as making the court the right size and shape, if you're going with a standard guide size court, that is. So you can delete it in, line your walls up with it, and then delete it out. So that gives you the proper wall hop height and everything else. A lot of people have been asking about that. That is the one you want for your dimensions. As I say, whether you need it or not, or even if you have a rectangular court, it helps just to spawn that in so you get a good idea how to make everything perfectly to the right size and shape. Anyhow, let's grab the 4v4 respawns. As I said, this has the safe zone, the alignment block up here that all my prefabs have and all my templates have. It's got the spawns in place, and you see how these are turned inwards, so that when you spawn, everyone it's the spawns are based on a circle that starts in the bomb plant, and the circle goes around, and all the spawns just touch the tip of that circle, so that they're all equidistant to the bomb pickup, and they all face the bomb pickup more or less. They're either slightly in or slightly out, which helps you determine which position you're spawning in if you get used to it. See, this one points directly at it. This one points a little bit more to the right, and this one points even more to the right. And the idea of that is that it's to help in the very instant of when you spawn, it helps to orient you as to which side of the court you're on. So, you know, if there's a bomb runner coming in to score and you're about to spawn, you'll know immediately whether to turn right or turn left. Where the old Halo 3 and other styles where all the spawns face straight forward, when you spawn, you aren't sure whether you're supposed to turn left or right off spawn. It takes just a few milliseconds longer to figure out which way to turn, and in that time, that can be determine whether a goal gets scored or not. Anyhow, I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's just get this thing in place. We'll line that up with magnets to the alignment blocker that's there, just to be sure that that's where he wants everything. And yes, it looks good. So that's in place. Yeah, so he's obviously used it at the beginning, and then somehow the positions got corrupted, but that's what you need there. Now he is spawning on court, so that's not a problem. So you just take the prefab, press up on the D-pad to ungroup it. You take these are the join in progress spawns. They're kind of important to have, but if you don't need them if you're spawning on the court, which he's doing here. So you just go there, you take the spawn order down to 0, as I said, or take the spawns from the platform you can spawn in, like the launch platform is the other prefab. So you take the order, bring it down to 0, so that they're all spawn order 0, and you simply just turn your magnets on, turn your snap to 5 degrees, and you do that. You just plunk it down on top, stick it with the magnet, turn it until it matches the other spawn. As I said, if you have your rotation snap set to 5 degrees, these are all set to 5 degrees as well. It just makes it that much easier and that much more accurate. So there you go. So that's blue side done. Quickly do red side. Same deal. Turn this to order of 0. And there you go. Quite simply, spawns are done. So I'm actually going to save this. Actually, I don't need to save this. He can see this on the video and he can just do it himself. Everything I'm showing is really easy to do. Okay, the floor looks to be fairly good. And the way you tell if a floor is good, you look at it with the light shining on it. See, there's a little microscopic gap between this piece here and this piece here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but that's not too bad. That looks fairly smooth, and smoothness is very important in a Grifball court because players love to slide, and a bumpy floor will kick them out of their slide. They will not appreciate that. The way to tell if you can't visually see if the floor is smooth is you fly your monitor up, you fly it down, you hold the A button to hold it onto and then you slide back and forth across this. And if there was any variation in height, you would see the monitor getting hung up on it. And actually, even though there's a visual difference, I can't feel it whatsoever. So this floor is perfectly fine floor. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's nice and low. It's pretty close to the markings under the floor. There's not a huge gap between the floor and here, so it doesn't look like the players are floaty. So he's obviously... Yeah, he hasn't used my template, but he's done a damn fine job of making the floor on his own. So that's good. That's a good sign there. This is important as well. You have to be able to jump without hitting your head on both these walls. So that's good. Oh, here's a problem. This is the goal side wall, okay? You see there's the goal side wall. That's the side wall. This is a clamber ledge that players like to be able to clamber up. And you have to make sure they can clamber. Now, you test this with the actual Grifball game type that's in my my file list. I think it's right at this point now. There's only either 1 or 3 game types in there, and Grifball Pro is one of them. So make sure that you can clamber. You can't always clamber in Forge mode, but you might be able to clamber in game. So you have to test it, and you also have to test everywhere there's a seam, like where this seam is. Make sure you can clamber on your seams and everywhere else along that. Where you shouldn't be able to clamber, which is odd because I can't clamber on the wall here, but I can clamber on the end wall. You should not be able to clamber on the goal side wall. That's very important because one of the moves in Grifball is for the runner to jump up on this wall, jump over the head of defenders, and slam the ball down to goal, score, or with the matchmaking game type, ground pound. But you don't want to take power away from the runner, and what I mean, or control away from the runner. And the way you do that is, if he's jumping and he has to clamber, for that split second he's clambering, he can't move he can't like just back out of it. So it takes away control, and runners do not want the game to take control away from them. It's okay if they do it here because there would be an intentionally clambering on this wall, but actually runners can jump so high they don't really need to clamber. It's more for players. A runner can just easily jump on these walls, but he does not want to be clambering. It's such an easy fix too. You just select your back wall and make sure it's not grouped, turn off magnets, and move it forward. There you go. See? All I did was make this wall big enough so that you can jump on it easy enough, but you can no longer clamber on it because the game doesn't give you enough room to do the clamber animation. Hey, hold on a sec. Someone's coming in, so the dog's going to bark. Just be a second. Okay, you've also noticed, sorry, I had to turn the mic off while the dog was barking. You'll also notice that there's no containment on top, and a lot of people think they don't need a roof on their court, but they do. I've seen players go, let's say, approximately this high before. Okay, so if your ceiling is lower than this high, you need a ceiling. Okay. Or if you're opening, the walls aren't if your walls aren't this high, I'm going to exaggerate even more. Let's say this high. Let's say the height of the actual canvas. If you want to go have it open top, make it all the way to the top of the canvas. I know I'm being ridiculous, but I've honestly seen Grifball players on open top courts get at least this high. It's just the game with the hammers and everyone carrying them. If they don't die, they're going to go flying. The ball can also go flying and flying way up high in the sky and flying way out. But it's real simple. You just take you just take 9 of these pieces and you make yourself a ceiling. Or you use the containment, the 4v4 Grifball containment that's got a ceiling built in. So you just put a ceiling on it. Simple as that. It's easy to do. It only costs 9 pieces. And it should be stuck to the bottom of the this piece here. So let's turn magnets back on. Oh wait, that's the wrong parent piece. There you go. There you go. See the magnet in there? That should be the height of your ceiling. And in this case, it is. Look at that. Well, there's a little bit of a gap there, but not enough for a player or the ball to get out of. But that's what you need. You need to put a ceiling down, and it should be equal with the bottom of the alignment block. So I'm glad he left the ceiling open because we have something else to discuss. Now, you notice the object count is 972. That is not true because I went through here the other day. I should not have saved it. I should have grabbed the fresh version of it. But oh, you know what? He must have got my notes because the things that I said to do, he's already done. Oh, okay. I'm going to take back some of what I said because this map has been updated since I was last in it. Before, he had almost used the entire budget, and he had all sorts of things that were like this whole area was all filled in here, and this was all filled in, and this was all filled in. So yeah, I was gonna say this part of the live stream did work, and I'm pretty sure I put it up on YouTube as well. I can't recall, but this is either he's updated it. Yeah, I think either he's updated it or this is the one I was saving. I'm pretty sure he's updated it because it's a lot cleaner than it was. As I said, he had his budget maxed out, and he had all sorts of blocks under the court. Yeah, this was all filled in before underneath here. So this is the court's been updated. So it still needs the so the piece count's under control. Let's see if the frame rate is under control because that's important as well. Yeah, see, this was terrible for frame rate before, and now it's nice and smooth. Still a bit of a gap, and no, it's not too bad. That was just a. Sorry, I thought I was seeing frame rate. I was just seeing the lens flare kind of threw me off for a second, and the light popping in and out. Light maps at 99%. Yeah, he's got light baking on the objects that need it. That's good. So that's better. Still needs work, as I say, but he definitely got the piece count under control. And it looks exactly the same. It's just half as many pieces, or hundreds of fewer pieces. So yeah, the frame rate is under control. So I think that's it for this one. And oh right, I'm not gonna tell you to do this, but I'm just gonna make a recommendation. The judges may not appreciate that when they go to judge your court. Okay, he seems to be holding something there or something. I don't know what your guy's doing, but I know people like putting sneaky things on their map, but I'm not gonna tell you to remove it, but the judges may hold that against you when they go to judge the map later. So I'm going to leave that entirely up to you. You know, everyone likes putting Easter eggs and little gimmicks and gags on their courts. That's fine. I do it all the time too. But you know, I'd say it's a case of pick your battles because you wouldn't want a court to be completely eliminated just for one silly thing that you added. Okay, so recap: roof. Fix your wall hops or test your wall hops in customs. Replace the spawns just as I did here. And I think that should be it. Let me just check your Trello board checklists. Containment, obstructions. Were there obstructions? No, I don't believe there were obstructions. Or if there were, they've been repaired. So I'm going to check that off. Frame rate is better. Correct spawns and objectives. I'll have to wait to see the updated version to see about that. Wall hop ledges do not allow clamber, and clamber ledges have no dead zones. So I'm going to have to leave those boxes unchecked. So that's four things that need to be four technical things that need to be improved before this map can move on. Before I put my stamp of approval on it. And as I say, maps that don't have my stamp of approval do not move on to the first round of judging, okay? So you've got until a week after the contest date closes, the contest entries. 1 week from that day will be the cutoff, and if you haven't fixed your map and got it up to spec by then, it will just be dropped right from the contest. So it's very important to keep on top of it. And you can still work on your map up to that point. And if you made changes to it, make sure you note the changes in your entry. Just edit your map entry post, and at the bottom say put your change log down of things that you've changed on it, just so we can keep an eye on it and make sure that we look at it again before closing. I'll be going over the maps in that final week as well, just to make sure all the boxes are checked. Okay, so that should be it for this one. We're going to shut down this recording and fire up the next map. So see you in the next video.